Yayoi Kusama, 1945 to now, is a retrospective that distinguishes itself by being organized through a six-part thematic structure. Many retrospectives have been focused on Kusama's career in New York as well as in Europe, but this retrospective really looks at each decade from 1945 up until the present in a way that looks at the evolution of many recurring motifs and themes in her practice. So the six thematic structures that organize this show are infinity, accumulation, biocosmic, death, radical connectivity, and force of life. The two first themes are infinity and accumulation, which you see behind me, and they were really established during Kusama's career in New York, where she lived from 1958 to 1973. So with the inclusion of historical works that have never been seen outside of Japan, the exhibition considers the philosophical impact of Kusama's practice, the deep engagement with life, mortality, the therapeutic healing in our age of the global pandemic. And in particular, the show focuses on Kusama's philosophy of self-obliteration, which is really an emptying of one's ego and seeing each other on equal terms as a form of communal healing. And this is really about radically connecting with one another. Another revelation from the show are the dualities that recur in Kusama's practice. There is a deep engagement with the organic and cosmic life, as well as accumulation and obliteration, as well as the positive and negative aspects of her forms, as well as the scale shifts that happen with the microcosm and macrocosmic worlds. Like a hole in a peach that reveals the index of an insect's life, Kusama's vivid world exists between mysticism and symbolism. Kusama's Infinity Net was formed as the basis of one of her most established bodies of works produced during her New York years from 1958 to 73. The expansive net pattern in the form of interconnected arcs were inspired by the sea currents of the Pacific Ocean that the artist witnessed during her flight from Japan to the US. Over the years, this motif has evolved into sublime, ephemeral forms such as rain, clouds, and stardust, as well as the cycle of transmigration in response to natural disaster. The second is accumulation. Beginning in 1962, Kusama created hundreds of sewn and stuffed phallic tubers that were attached to domestic furniture, such as sofas, chairs, high heel shoes, and boats. Calling them accumulations, she literally obfuscated their use value through the uniformity of white or metallic paint and vibrant fabric patterns. Also called obsessional art, food, or sex compulsions, these sculptures reflect both a repulsion and attraction to society's sex obsession during the counterculture revolution and the capitalist culture of overconsumption. The third is radical connectivity. Radical connectivity, or the desire for interconnection, became politicized during the late 1960s through Kusama's philosophy of self-obliteration, which called for the emptying of one's ego in pursuit of seeing one another on equal terms. Kusama's notorious happenings consisted of the artist rapidly painting polka dots on nude bodies to demonstrate the communal connection against alienation that civilians felt amidst the increasing futility of anti-war protests. Self-obliteration was a means of communal healing to radically connect those who experienced being on the margins of life. And this was during the Vietnam War while she was living in New York. Biocosmic is the fourth theme. Since the very beginning, growing up in a family that owned a seed nursery, Kusama has had a deep connection and engagement with organic and cosmic forms, or the biocosmic. Her observations of plant anatomies and their cycles of life and decay, as well as a memory of seeing millions of sunlit stones in the river behind her home, became a basis for a mysterious vision that generated her most intimate collages, assemblages, and sculptures. Death is the fourth theme. Death is a profound subtext for Kusama, whose work constantly engages the threshold between life and death. The works in this section span the existential experiences of desolation and destruction during World War II, the deep period of retreat following her return to Japan in 1973, and Kusama's own lifelong struggle with mental health. The last theme is force of life. Kusama's most recent and prolific body of work, My Eternal Soul, totals over 900 works. Rendered in vibrant, almost metallic palettes, these paintings demonstrate a fierce and primordial energy that generates enduring strength and recurring compositional motifs ranging from familiar dots, nets, fish scales, primeval figures, mosaics, radial forms, shells, stripes, stitched patterns, tentacles, and delicate marks reminiscent of fingerprints. These latest works function as a form of therapeutic healing and overcoming.